Alrighty, back on the H here. Got the crankshaft back in it. Is it 10-10 crankshaft, ground 10 under, which means they ground the rod journals and the main journals 10 thousandths under in diameter, and then the bearings are 10 thousandths thicker on the inside, so that it compensates for that. Rods and main bearings supposed to have 2 to 3 thousandths running clearance. So I've got the plastic gauge in there. You can see it here. It's just a little thin strip of wax, I think is what it is. They make this is the green stuff's 2 to 3 or 1 to 3 thousandths is what you can measure, and they make red stuff, which is 2 to 4 or 2 to 6 thousandths. Those are the two common engine sizes. They make some other sizes too, which are different colors. And then you torque the cap down, that smashes that little piece of wax, and then depending on how wide it is depending on how much clearance you got. So I've put this is number one. You got the little indentation there for the bearings that they don't spin. Put those together on the same side. Come on, drop in there. There we go. And bolts get torqued to 75 foot-pounds. Sometimes, if there was never really a problem, like the engine is just getting kind of wore out, I won't plastic gauge every bearing. You know, if say you had a 6-cylinder, I'd probably do like 2 mains and 2 rods if I didn't have a problem with it, because there was a problem and it's a fresh ground crank and everything. And I don't know, you know, what this crankshaft came out of, or bearings, or you know whatnot. I'm just going to plastic gauge all seven of them. Come on, get drop it in there. Sometimes they're a little tight. But they can be persuaded very gently. I'll put these in, torque them down, and show you what the result is. Alright, I got them all torqued down. I loosened them back up. This is the first one I pulled off. The red's a little easier to see than the green, but you can tell where it smashed it down there. And I'll pull one off at a time, then I'll set the other one back on as long as there isn't any problem. And right now we are sitting at about 1.5. It's about 1.5 thousandths. They wanted 2 thousandths out of it for clearance, but I'm probably not going to worry about that 1/2 thousandth. I have seen some of these. I can't remember. I've seen one of these older IH engines that's had a 1.5 thousandths running clearance. So then just take your fingernail and scrape the wax off, and then you put more grease on it and set it back down on there. So as long as they don't get more than 1.5 thousandths tighter, I'm probably not going to worry about it. Because, well, what you could do if they were getting a little tighter, what I'd probably do is I'd probably take it up to the machine. Well, I'd probably send it back to the place where I got it from, because I'd have a complaint there. But anyway, normally what I would probably do is take it to the machine shop and have them polish the crankshaft, in hopes that it takes about a 1/2 or 1/1000th off of it, because they can't really mill that tiny of a number. So that's probably what I'd do, is I'd have it polished if they were still tighter than that. So I'll check the rest of them here and make sure they're alright, and then move on to the rods. Already got the main caps all torqued down, and the rods, torqued them to 37.5 foot-pounds as it's spec in the book. Check the two center ones here first, and they're both good. They're both right at 2 thousandths clearance, which is good. This one's the one I was kind of worried about, but I think it'll be alright. So I'm going to clean them up, put some grease on them, and torque them back down, and then do the other two. Already and put those back down, and I like to torque these up here in 2 steps. So I'm going to torque them down to 20 just to seat them, and then I'll torque them to 37.5 for the final torque on them. Hit them a couple times just to make sure everything's all seated. And that's it for those 2 rods. So roll it. Don't forget to bend the little lock tabs over there. And you're done. And I'll roll it up and do that side too, and that one, and that's how you do the rods. Alright, to get the rods, all the bottom end hardware is done there. Now I'm putting the front cover back on. This plate goes on first, and then I've greased all the camshaft bushings and put grease on the lifters so that it's not a dry start up. The camshaft goes in next then. And then obviously, see this, right there's the mark. There's one on the crankshaft. Why did I have, oh, that's for distributors. So I put that paint mark on there. Not that really matters because that's infinite adjustment, but did it just for the heck of it, and then hopefully I won't have to touch it. Rip off a tooth. There we go. Come on, slide in there. Oh, the thing here's hitting. Pete's sake, come on. Gotta get this plate that holds camshaft, gotta get this all back in here. There we go. That's in all the way, the timing marks are lined up. So now I gotta spin it, and there's just these 2 bolts here going that camshaft retainer. Which is right there, and then that'll pretty much be that.